This is MH17. Want to share with you guys here some information you may or may not have seen thus far, but I want to do an overall analysis of this whole Ukrainian event and the obvious, what you're looking at right here as a staged event. You see these fresh passports. Many of you may have already heard about the passport thing, but it goes deeper. Of the people that are capable of issuing such passports and information like this so quickly. And I want you to look at this. Mint condition. Mint condition here. And this guy put out a suspect. They say he may be a Mossad operative, Regis Krola, but he was apparently on the flight, and he tweeted out a tweet before they took off that said that he was going to go to Malaysia, then Bali. Now, if you've noticed, Kenzo is a Zionist operation. And you can see all over his shirt, if you look closely, within that flag, the Illuminati eye is all over it. You have to have the eye to see. You look closely, you will see. Anyway, this man was supposed to have been among the dead, but yet these passports here come out unscathed. These bodies, for those of you, I'm not going to show any of the footage of the bodies, but it's just ridiculous. You look at this carnage. Right here, they had to foam and spray all this stuff down because it was on fire and dig bodies out of the ground. And you're going to tell me that you're going to pull out perfectly unscathed passports and pitch them on the ground and say, oh, it was these people? I do not think so. It makes you question who indeed are the people here, because there's a lot of problems with this already. They're accusing the Russians of taking bodies out of there and messing with the crime scene. But I want to point one thing out, guys. One thing out that cuts through all the mainstream media crap. Don't you forget this. If you ask the simple question, if that damn news anchor can get into that country and get right up to the damn crime scene and take pictures and have a camera, why in the hell can't anyone else? If inspectors really want it in there, why can't they grab a camera and say they're with the news crew and roll right in? They don't. Why? Because they're doing their damnedest to stay away from this, so they can have every excuse to blame Russia. They could be in there right now if they wanted to. Don't believe the headlines. You have to ask yourself, how is NBC, ABC, CNN, and all the reporters frontline at the scene? There's no rebels shooting at them. There's nobody stopping them. Everyone's walking around with their hands on their hip in awe. Right? And there's no fighting right there. Why could these people not approach the scene? You have to ask these common sense questions. They could be in there if they wanted, and you have to watch the signs. Now, we're never going to know the end of this, just like the other Malaysian flight. You're going to keep searching for answers forever. But one thing's for sure. And you really, I mean, look at this. Paper sticking out of stuff that's not even bent or fringed. And yeah, once again, shout outs to everyone out there that's done work in investigating on this. Stacks being pulled out of the back of a truck. Shout outs to True Stream Media once again as well. Stacks being pulled out of the back of a truck, guys. It gets no more clear than this. That right there was staged. Pulled those perfect passports out of this. Get out of here. You have to be a fool to believe it, guys. And they want to call us the nuts, the conspiracy nuts. You see the trick? Hopefully, many of you are smarter than that. You cannot go into a situation like this and pull out this. It's impossible. Now, I'm going to leave links to all the stuff so you guys can look at all the photos, as always. But to me, the writing's on the wall. Picture perfect passports here. Has the signature of Mossad written all over it. And if you have the eyes to see, you can spot the signature. Let's not forget at this point we've busted the Ukrainian government trying to run a prop story and frame Russia right out the gate. It got shot down. And for anyone that wants to try to counter argue it, where's the story at now? It's real. They did it. They pulled it. Well, you're not going to pull something that big of a story if it wasn't fake. No one's asking the question, why did you pull the story? They deleted everything. You don't do that unless you're guilty. Hands down, they're busted in that situation. Not another word about it. They created that prop story. I don't care about timestamps, anything. They deleted it. They covered the whole thing up. Guilty as charged. And that right there shows you, if they're doing that, that means this whole thing is an orchestration. This whole thing. So, you know, what we've got thus far, video footage wise, shows us, like I've reported on before. And for everyone to try to come out and cuss me and say that this wasn't the flight, oh, even the mainstream media is pushing it now as being the video footage of the flight. The moment that it blew up. And like I pointed out before, nothing in the sky around it. All we have is the explosion on the ground. And this is not to say that this thing was not shot down out of the sky. But this is the only footage that we have. Every other video that has showed a plane getting shot down has not been this. It's all been debunked. So, they're trying their damnedest. At first, they said they had satellite imagery tracing the trail of this thing, of the missile that hit it, back to the border between the Ukraine and Russia. But in the Ukraine, now the mainstream media is running with the story that they're tracking it back to inside of Russia. So it's, which is it? The story's going to keep changing, guys, and I'm telling you, they're pressing for war big time. If there's ever been a big situation that could get us into a war-type scenario, it's this. Because at this point, the Russians look to be the patsies here, and you've got to think, what are they thinking? They've got to stop this madness, right? Because if not, the Russian troops are going to be frontline right there, and their billboards show the Russian flag going all the way past Kiev. So at the end of the day, if the Russians were to blame, we'd be pointing at the Russians, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like the same people that have been orchestrating the same schemes we've seen before are behind another one again. And I just want to point out for the record that, you know, you're talking the same neck of the woods that mushroom cloud was on that Chinese rover pic that made no sense why it was there. I think about it all the time. You got to think how Russia has took over Crimea, and there's not been another word about it. Although in the maps they're trying to show that the Ukraine possesses it on TV, and it's not true. It's a big psychological game here. Got to keep your eyes open and stay sharp. And just remember this. This could have been a whole lot worse, because I put nothing past the people that are doing this. And we're very lucky that they didn't pack a plane like that full of bodies that were reeking with disease. Like a 30-day incubation period type of craziness. So, we count our blessings. Stay sharp. Eyes open. It's Cluminati.